have more self-belief lah, brother. I think being honest to yourself is the biggest tool that you can do to move forward. Hello. Episode 3 is here. Asyraf Nasir again for Celebrity Podcasts. Let's dig in. I think one of the biggest challenging things is being sure of myself. I know I sound like I'm contradicting the past person, but I think last time it was more of being sure of my capabilities of what I could potentially do. But now when the scale is bigger and you're like entering studio sessions and meeting people from the industry who have a bigger reputation and like bigger knowledge and experience, which I totally respect, it can be a bit daunting. So besides being a rapper, I'm also a songwriter, and I have a lot of sessions writing for other artists, which is really fun. I've met a lot of different people, and this aspect, I think, attests to myself of like what I can do, what I can bring to the table. Even working with other people, I like to broaden my horizons and like see what it's like with other people, not just in creative work, but also I think this self-confidence that they have and how they bring themselves about, the business side of things, and also self-love of things and self-growth. Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenge. I think if we're going back to the rap competition that I joined before, I think the proudest moment was so for context, when you win the Rap Star Era competition, you get a song fully produced by a producer in the industry, and that producer happens to be Sunawan. And just for context, when I grew up listening to a lot of local artists, he was like one of the people I looked up to the most and my biggest inspiration, because he was that one guy who articulated things very smoothly. He had his own character, and he was one of the rare people who rapped in both English and Malay. I thought that was interesting because he was someone who had different cultures and like did that. And so after that, when I got the chance to get into the studio, I think it was a surreal moment, because like younger self has always dreamed about working with this person and learning so much from this person. And that was that moment. It was my first ever studio time. Wait, let me recall it back, because before we got into the studio, we had like a 2-hour it was 2 hours before we got any work done, because I think we were trying to understand each other, getting the vibes, because Sona knew me from the competition, but I think we wanted to connect even deeper, because if we're going to create something, and this is part of collaboration, I think that was his way of working, which I understood. It's like, let me really assess you and see what fits for you, because if I'm going to produce this, I got to know who I'm producing it for. And then that was the time where the pandemic happened, and it was a scary time. We were watching the news. We were in the living room watching the news, and then that time it was scary because India had like a major worldwide, nationwide lockdown, and then China had a lockdown, and we're like, whoa, this virus thing is kind of serious, huh? It's a matter of time that Malaysia gets hit. Fun fact, it hit the next day. They announced the lockdown the next day of the studio session, which is like kind of wild. So we went to the studio, and then when he was making stuff, and then he was asking me like, what's the vibe? And then after like 5 minutes, we looked at each other. It's like, he already played the beat. He made this beat in 5 minutes. He already had like, the song is called Virus, by the way, and it's one of like my biggest songs. So he made that beat done in like 5-10 minutes, super fast. And then we were trying to find like a concept for it. And then I looked at him, and he looked at me instantly. He's like, what if we wrote about the virus? I'm like, okay. That's exactly what I was thinking. And then we wanted to spin it off. We didn't want to talk about COVID-19 no. We wanted to make this as a statement piece, because this is the first official song of me into the industry. And it was a play on words, I called myself the virus because the stuff that I do is infectious. And that time I was so sure of the things that I could do and things I could make. And like, let's put it out there. I want the people to know Asyraf Nasir. And in this session, it was daunting because like you were with an award-winning producer who's here talking to a kid who just won a competition straight out of Instagram, you know. And then I was so shy. I didn't even like type it out on my phone. I brought a whole writing book and I used to write a lot. I like chonting. I wrote. It was like a good like 20 minutes, and I was like, should I share it to him? And I just said like, hey guys, I sang him the hook and like, what do you think of this? And it's like, dope. Like, let's record that right now. And we went. He brought me straight into the studio, and everything you hear is the first take. And I think because he believed in like the energy that was brought there, it's like pump, and that was so interesting because I think sometimes in my perfectionist side, like even delivering it, like, oh, I gotta be, is this nice, is it good enough? But no, I think then I learned of like how his ear works and a lot of the other technical stuff. But that was a big experience, and I think that was the biggest challenge for me, to speak up and speak my thoughts, because other people are just human too, you know. Right now, even in my writing sessions, I just decide to like let go of the judgment and the pressure. Just be you. That's why you're here. People are here because they want to work with you. Be yourself, huh? My personal goal, I feel like there are a lot of milestones that I have yet to tick off the box. I think in the conversation in the previous episodes of like forgetting my direction and like what I enjoy doing, I think I want to get back to doing exactly what I enjoy. I didn't have a time to really explore my sound because I was a kid from social media and then got signed to a major label. Shout out to Def Jam, Universal Music. And I think it was that whole experience of understanding how the real world works. So now that I kind of see it, I don't know it from the back of my hand. I'm still learning. But now I understand it. I think I want to go back to what I enjoy doing. So maybe an album, fully myself, and the stories that you could relate to and you could understand, just like this podcast, hopefully. I think I have a bucket list of people that I would love working with. For me, it's about collaboration and see what happens in the pot, and you know, if it connects to anybody. And I just want to connect to people. I think whatever creation I make, I just hope that people genuinely like it for what it is. And I guess the message for any creative person out there, it's a challenge. I think it's can be scary, can be daunting, but I think aside from the obvious boxes to tick, which is be certain of yourself, finding your people, it's just to not stop. This is gonna sound cliche AF, but really just don't. If I stopped back then, I don't know if I'd even be here doing a podcast with Sean. Wherever you may be, if you're not sure, have no regrets. One of the things that I hold on to my life is no what ifs, and I never want to regret anything that I do. So please keep going. Yeah, so I think I always try to remind myself of the now, or what's my purpose, even if I, you know, win a giant award, which is a great bucket list. That's one of my biggest bucket lists. But I'll never forget of like where I came from. It sounds cliche, but it is real. Like, I'll always remember my day one friends, people who made me of who I am today, people who inspire me, even my teachers. I wasn't that much of a vocal kid, by the way, in primary school. I was so quiet. Shout outs to Puan Nalini. She dragged me into debating. And that was such a new world for me, but it gave me that confidence. Remembering yourself when you didn't go anywhere, that's what keeps you grounded. And also have honest friends. Your honest friends will always remind you, hey, you're not that good, unless you have a song with someone internationally or whatever, you know what it is. But those are the friends who bring your younger self back, your past self. Always remember your younger self. Have more self-belief, lah, brother. I think you have a lot more self-worth than you think you do at that point. Being honest to yourself is the biggest tool that you can do to move forward. And I'm not talking about just about yourself, but I'm also talking about the people you surround yourself and people you think matter to you. that is something to always consider, because 5 years, 10 years later, bruh, they're not even here. They don't matter. Nothing matters. What matters is now and today. So, yeah, think about that. Ha, what a season it is. And I'm so blessed to be here sharing my story on the Celebrity Podcast. Till the next time, my name is Asyraf Nasir. Big love. Take care.